know about this? Oh, I did not see that coming at all. Oh, oh, that is really quite surprising. Did you know about this? What a plot twist that is, huh? Well, hello, my velvets, and welcome to GYOG. Oh, here I am in my bath because, it has been a very busy day and I just needed to relax a bit, I just got my nice drink. Oh, that's very nice, that is. My favourite is actually the lemon and lime, but I ran out, so I had to borrow a bit of Kiki's. Very refreshing. A little snack as well makes me feel very relaxed in the bath. Salty. I think there is maybe nothing more decadent than having a snack in the bath. What do you think? Very Moorish. Oh, one overboard. Well, it is very good that you have joined me just before bedtime because today we are going to be talking about space. Oh, no, not that kind of space, with the rockets and the aliens and the ladybirds and so on and so forth. Instead, we will be talking about what space you are going to be doing your show in. GYOG is about making a show in your house after all, so you will have to think about what room you are going to perform in. Or maybe in more than one room. Oh, if you are very lucky and you have a garden, maybe you can do it there. I would love to see that very much. I don't have a garden, but I have tried to create one here with all the plants. It is not quite the same. Well, here I am in my bathroom. I will let you in on a little secret. The bathroom is the best place for singing. Oh, yeah. Because it is nice and echoey, and also the mist, from the bath or from the shower makes your voice sound, really quite magnificent. That's good, no? There are some very exciting examples of theatre that uses unusual spaces. If a show moves from space to space, then we might call it promenade theatre, which means that the audience follows the action as it moves around. And that can be from room to room, or from building to building, or perhaps it is out on the street. You see, theatre can happen anywhere. It can happen outside, it can happen in a cupboard, in a bathroom, in a kitchen, it can happen in a basement, in a school, in a factory. And sometimes when it is in more unusual spaces, it might feel a little bit more like a game. Or, like the audience have a slightly different relationship with what they are seeing. Maybe they are up for a little bit more interaction. There are theatre companies that specialise in this kind of work. Coney is one, Punch Drunk is another, and they really make it their work to transform spaces that you might not even recognise. So they might go into a school or into a factory or onto the street, and they just completely transform it with the furniture and the props and the items all around, so it feels like you are almost stepping into another world. I love that kind of theatre. Another thing to think about is how you fit into the space and your relationship with all of the things around you. In the theatre, we would call these set and props. The things that really transform a space and make it feel a certain way. You can also think about size, how big things are, and how small things are in relation to you, and how that changes the perspective and the different ways of storytelling. Oh, yo, see? There is a little house up on the top of the hill underneath the big tree. Oh, and here, a tiny boat sails on the ocean. Well, I guess that makes me the sea monster? Oh, yo! Ah! They are still alive, it's okay. Or perhaps I am the captain of the ship who lives in the house on the hill, and I am remembering this story from years ago and telling it to you. I look like a captain, no? It was a dark and stormy night in late June when I went out in my boat to investigate the sea monster. I had heard her cries throughout the night, and I was worried that she might be in terrible trouble. As my ship sailed away from the harbour, I looked up at my house on the hill. The lights were still on, and I could see my cat looking out at me into the dark night. She had wanted to come along, but I was scared that she would get thrown overboard. After all, the sea was very unpredictable that night. So you see, lots of different ways that we can use items around us, big and small, to help tell our story. Now, I will get on the Zoom with my very dear friend Tassos Stevens. Tassos, well, he is the director of Coney. They are one of the most exciting and actually quite famous companies that make promenade theatre and theatre in unusual spaces. Kiki? Would you like me to leave the bath water in for you?
Oh, hello, Tassos!
Hello, Veronika. How are you?
I'm very good. It's very nice to see you.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but it's good to see you too.
Now, Tassos, I have some very exciting questions to ask you because today we have been talking about space. Where is the strangest place that you have done a piece of theatre?
I think the strangest place it's a choice of two. Like, one of them was in a cleaning cupboard of a railway station whilst dressed as a railway worker. And then I also have a piece called Jimmy Stewart, which I perform anywhere, often performing in people's living rooms. I go to people's houses and perform it. I once performed it to an audience of one person sitting like at a corner of a table, but we were in a crowded pub and there was like about 100 people all around us who were completely unaware of the fact that this performance was happening.
Wow, so I guess for you and the person you were performing it to, it feels in some ways very intimate, but in other ways actually in the middle of a massive crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think actually and I have made something which it wasn't a performance, but it did happen in space, like for real.
Okay, can you explain this? Because this is very blowing my mind.
So my company, Coney, collaborated with another company called Unlimited, and we were helping them make a piece about learning how to become an astronaut. And it was with the help of Tim Peake, who was going up to the International Space Station, and he was carrying a character of the story who was a tiny astronaut. And yeah, we got there was a final event at the Science Museum with lots of young people from all over the country who were taking part and meeting some of the other kind of characters. but then we were watching a live broadcast of like the launch, and like Tim gave like a thumbs up to the camera, and like everybody cheered, like, because although he's just doing the thumbs up to the camera, it felt like it was for us. That was pretty magic.
That is pretty incredible. I don't think I've ever heard a story like that before. And how do you think that theatre can transform a room or change a space?
I think theatre is like this great big magic game of make-believe, where we can pretend, we can play together, like you, the performers, and the audience together. We can pretend that this place where we are can like anywhere else. So like this room that I'm in now could become like the surface of Mars, or it could be on a battleship. Like anything is possible. Like we can pretend, and our audience pretends with us, and it's like, and that's the real magic. When I was I've been doing a storytelling piece, and actually, in fact, I will show you. Also, it's called Telephone. I welcome people into like the Zoom bar and say, okay, let's pretend that we're in a bar.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. So you come to the theatre, you're outside the bar, and then I'm going to take you into the theatre. And the way I'm going to take you into the theatre is I'm going to play some music, and I'm going to raise a curtain. So playing the curtain, I've got my favourite wipe cloth, which I wipe all my shopping with.
It is very sensible to do that, oh yeah.
So basically, like I'm going to to enter the theatre, I tell the audience, like we'll put some music on and we'll raise the curtain. When the curtain's raised, then we'll be in the theatre as if by magic. And it happens like this.
The theatre! I love that because it really does create the atmosphere of when you are sitting waiting for something to start.
Yeah.
And what is it important to think about and to remember when we think how we are engaging with our audiences?
Something I've picked up as a habit from another theatre maker. The first thing I'll often say is thank you for being here, like, because they're giving us a gift by being here, simply that. And I think it's important to be thinking about how they can be comfortable, how to take care of them. And it's also important that they know that anything they do is going to be brilliant. Like, you're not going to be judged. You're not going to look silly. But if you do look silly, everybody will be looking silly at the same time. And also because the more they are able to give to you, the braver they can be, then the more fun you'll have back as well. Because basically you'll be playing together, and you think of it, even if they're sitting and watching and listening to you, you're still playing together. And obviously, like, people, when they're playing together, they play well if we feel comfortable and we're having fun and we feel we can do what we want kind of inside this, and we know what to expect. That's how and then you will have more fun doing it as well.
And you kind of mentioned a little bit earlier about one-on-one performances, because some of the Velvets at home, they may only have one person they are doing their show to, because, we are in our houses at the moment. But that doesn't make it any less important, does it?
No, not at all. No, it's really magic to do a show for one person. Maybe if you're making things for one person, maybe you would think about making it a shorter piece. Like, and a short piece is like it's maybe like 4.5 minutes long. Like, a really good short piece, like, could be brilliant. Not much better than making something that is too long. So
our Velvets at home, they are thinking about what room to pick to do their show. And I have said maybe it is promenade, some of the stuff that you do, they can have more than one room. What should they be considering as they pick their room or rooms?
It's good to imagine, first of all, like, how many audience are you going to be playing to? Like, where will the audience be? Will they be sitting? Will they be standing? Like, how will they be comfortable? You might want to, like, play some games to discover what like what possibilities there are in this room. Like, so maybe play a game, like for instance, you might try and play hide and seek with yourself, and find the places you can hide. Or you might play floor is lava. But I always find in any room or space, the more you can play, just play to begin with, you'll discover some of the possibilities. You go, oh look, like behind like that, I could hide behind that door, if it was open. Like, and maybe that would be like a brilliant moment in your performance. And then also, like, I think there's something about, because when we're playing, we're pretending that this room is the surface of Mars, or this room is a battleship. And it's like, but what is this? What's really in this room? Like, what are the things that can stand in and play? So, you know, like I picked up this to play a curtain. I would look for something like the light shade that you can see there. That would actually play the planet Mars. So it's like, what's in the room that can maybe could play a role in your piece. And then maybe some rooms will play other places like really well. Maybe a kitchen would play a secret lab like incredibly well, because like of all the equipment and like all that stuff. Think of your room as being like another performer, and then like how well can you cast them? Like what the kinds of roles they can be cast in that will suit them.
Oh, well, Tassos, it's been wonderful.
Me too, Veronika. Thank you.
Well, take care. I'm off to bed now, but I hope you sleep well.
Yeah, you too.
See you very soon.
See you very soon. Okay.
Bye.
Good morning. I slept very well last night, and now I have lots of ideas about your task for today. So, here we have a box. In the theatre, it is very common for the designer of the set, so the person who is making all the things, the furniture and stuff, to make a tiny version of the stage. It is called a model box. They can look down into the little box and work out how things will move around, how much space they have. Maybe some stuff can be changed around to different places. So, your task for today is to make your own model box. A tiny version of the room you are going to perform in. Maybe you are going to perform in more than one room. Maybe you will start off in the bedroom, and then you want your audience to follow you through to the kitchen. Make 2 model boxes if you want, one for the bedroom, one for the kitchen. Or you can use one box as if it is your whole house, and within that have a little space for the bedroom and a little space for the kitchen. It is up to you. I am going to make my bathroom because that is where I'm going to do my slime show. I decided to choose my bathroom because I think it is very well suited to the theme of slime. Sometimes bathrooms are slimy, especially if I haven't cleaned it in a while. But also it is good for singing, and I like to sing, oh yeah. So I found this box. It is about the right shape for my bathroom. My bathroom is maybe a little bit slimmer, but it will do. It doesn't have to be exactly right. You might need to get a grown-up to help you with these things, with the scissors and stuff. Just to be careful in case they are sharp. Oh, it is a very rainy day outside. This is the kind of day that is perfect for making a model box because I think I will stay in my pajamas all day. So here is the window. Imagine if I look through this window and I see this massive cat. Well, that would be an absolute nightmare. It's a bit like The Borrowers. Have you read that? The Borrowers? I love that story. But the Borrowers use things, like they might use an egg cup or something is their toilet, and they collect stuff from humans' houses. You should read it, it's very good.
Kiki, can you recognize this as our bathroom? It is important to think about the things that you can move within the room and the things that are stuck. So the bath cannot be moved, so I'm going to stick it to the floor because I know when I am making my shows that that is something that I will have to work with. That's good. I'm making a shower curtain out of the bubble wrap because the shower curtain is an important part. I'm going to be using it as a intro to the show starting. Like Tasso said, it is good to have something. You don't have to have a curtain, but maybe it is a door opening, or maybe you hang up a sheet and you can use that as a curtain. Maybe it is just walking into a different room, but it is nice to have a separation between normal life and then the world of the show. Like, ta-da! The show is starting. In the cinema, it might be like the lights going down, and then you have the opening music in the cinema, and you have that lion, you know? He's like, rawr! And that is like, oh, you know, the show is starting. Shush. Stop talking. Now these scissors are very bad. Kiki, this bathroom is too small for you, okay? So now you see I have the shower, the bath. I found some tissue papers that I put in the bath because I'm probably going to have the bath full of water for the show. And the toilet. I think for the toilet I will just use this. And as well, if you cannot be bothered to make all these things, or maybe you don't have the cardboard and all these things, you can just use items. You can just put in a cup to be the shower and a egg cup for the toilet. That is fine. So that goes there because the toilet is just next to the bath. Kiki, it's not the right size for you, okay? That's the thing. If it was in the borrowers and they were all the right size for this bathroom, you would be very scary. Oh, yes, good. That's very good, Kiki. Yes, that's very good because that is just where that goes. Very good. Do you want to put the sink in? You're doing a very good job. Yes. Oh, well, it is not so much for eating. This is a good task to do, I think, when you have a rainy day or something. I'm very happy that it is raining, actually, today. Oh, that is looking great. What do you think, Kiki? I think she likes it. These are the bits of furniture within the bathrooms that you can move around. So this one is a towel rack. This is where we keep our towels, me and Kiki. And then we have, this is another block. It's kind of, we have bits and bobs in there. And I can move them around in the bathroom. So I'm not going to stick them to the floor because then I can move them and see where they might go to help me with the show. Pom-poms, I guess, little pom-poms. They are quite fun for the bubbles in the bath. Now, I know my show will be about slime. Here are some green pom-poms that look like slime. I'm going to put them in the bathroom and then I'm going to see if I can find something real like these to put in the bathroom. It's a good way of thinking about what it would look like. What do you think? So it's good because now I look at my model and I think, how can I find some things like that? Maybe it's scrunched up green paper, maybe it's some green clothes that I can find. These are good things to think about. And it is very good for planning the items and the furniture we might need. Makes me feel very cozy to be inside when it's raining. It's one of my favorite things, actually. Ah! Et voila! So here, I've finished my model box now. So when I'm thinking about my show, I will look at my model box and I will think, okay, so the slime show, I will call it for now on. The slime show begins. The audience will come in through the door. That is Kiki, my only audience member, really. She will come through the door and she will come into the shower, through the shower curtain. And in the shower, I will then do a little one-on-one performance. I think I will probably do a song because I know that sounds good in the shower. Introduction to slime or something. Maybe I will use the music from the music episode, singing over it and a bit of movement. I know that the shower is quite small, so it have to be quite small movement, but that is good. So I will think, so music. There's not really anywhere to plug in anything in the bathroom and it's not as safe to do that. So the music will have to maybe be from my phone or something, or maybe it will just be singing. Maybe I will not be able to play any music or things to think about. Then I think the interval will happen. So Kiki will leave and go back out into the hallway where there will be something waiting for her. Maybe a hairpin and a saucer of milk. The interval is important at the theatre. The next half after the interval, Kiki will come in and it will take place in the bath. I will be in the bath. So I have to think about where Kiki will be sitting. Now, Kiki kind of goes, to be honest, where she wants to go, and I cannot tell her to do anything because she never listens. But, you know, maybe you have an audience member who will need to sit down. You will have to think about where they will be. So for the second half, I think I will move one of these blocks so Kiki can sit in the middle of the room and she'll be able to see into the bath. So this is good to remember because I know that in the interval, while Kiki is having a relax, I will have to do a set change. That is when you move the set around. I will have to move the block from the side into the middle of the bathroom so that when Kiki comes back from the interval, she will be able to sit on the block and watch the second half in the bath. These are all very important things to think about. Then when the show finishes, I'm not sure what happens in the bath yet. I haven't finished the show. I'm same as you probably. I haven't thought about it. You might not know exactly what it is you are doing yet, and that is totally fine. The whole idea about the model box is it will give us some ideas about our show. Before I made this box, I did not know, I will do something in the shower. Oh no, I make the model box and I think, that is a good place to do something. Similarly, you might make your box and you suddenly think of something. There's a cupboard there. Now I see it from above. I will do something in the cupboard, or so on and so forth. So it is really just something to help us with our ideas, and we still don't need to make any firm decisions about the show yet. It is just fun to play around with.